Hey, Uriel Kane here, author of Eating for Energy, and I guess your instructor, if you want to call it that, for the Raw Food 101 lessons. And I want to answer a question that several people have asked me, and that's whether the raw food diet is appropriate or suitable for someone with Candida. Now, if you don't know what Candida is, basically it's a yeast. It's a type of yeast that grows in your large intestine, and that's what it is. Now, Candida overgrowth is really the problem, and that occurs for a number of reasons. And let's kind of break that down for a second. So basically the biggest way that Candida gets out of control is when you're taking antibiotics, for instance. Antibiotics basically kill all the bacteria, good and bad, in the colon, leaving only, well, not leaving, but allowing yeast and bad microorganisms to flourish thereafterwards. So there's a tendency for the bad guys to tend to proliferate after antibiotics come in, and therefore they're not kept in check by the good bacteria. And that's why probiotics are so good, especially after antibiotics, is that they help to repopulate the good bacteria in your colon to keep things in check. That's one of the ways that it happens. So antibiotics come in, they wipe out everything, Candida overgrows at that point and gets out of control. The second way is a diet that is high in refined sugars. So, lots of sweets, lots of sugar, lots of candy, stuff like that. Those are all things that Candida will thrive on. The third way is not digesting your foods properly, because undigested foods, again, are a source of fuel for Candida and yeast in the colon. So those are three big ways that yeast can get out of control. And when we're talking about yeast infections, jock itch, athlete's foot, toenail fungus, whatever it is, all of that comes down to is Candida, is basically this yeast overgrowth that we're talking about. And you can take creams, you can take ointments, and that's going to correct the issue, locally, but it's not solving the problem systemically. So Candida is a problem, and I believe that it goes a lot further than that. I believe that it affects everything from eyesight to immune disorders to everything, skin issues, everything. And there's more and more research that's showing the impact of Candida, because Candida doesn't just stay in the colon, it circulates systemically once it gets out of control. It's a big, big problem. Is the raw food diet suitable for somebody with Candida? Well, the answer is it depends. Because within the raw food diet, there's obviously a difference. You could have two raw foodists eating very differently. What I would not recommend if you are somebody who has severe Candida is that you do not, generally the protocol for Candida is that you remove every form of sugar possible for 6 months. So that includes fruit. So you're basically eating vegetables for 6 months. That's a hardcore approach to Candida. And then obviously you're fortifying with probiotics and things like oregano oil and garlic to help kill off some of the yeast in the body. So that's a very stringent, very strict approach to dealing with Candida. And it's pretty tough to, I don't know many people who can sustain that kind of diet for a long time, especially for 6 months. So if you are approaching issues, or if you're approaching the raw food diet and you do have Candida issues, the one thing I would suggest is that yes, it is suitable for Candida, because nonetheless you're going to be eating a lot of greens, you're going to be eating a lot of vegetables. Why not make them raw? So the one thing I would suggest though is that you stay away from some of the very, very sweet fruit. My personal approach to Candida is making it more sustainable for people. So again, if you want to go full out and eat nothing but greens for 6 months, that's great. You'll get some good results. But if you can't do that, and God knows that I can't do that, here's what I recommend. Stay away from the sweet fruit. So that includes the tropical fruits, right? The pineapples, the mangoes, all that kind of stuff. The bananas, you want to eliminate. The dates, you want to stay away from. All those very, very high glycemic sweet fruit, you want to stay away from. When it comes to fruit, you want to generally steer towards more of the berries. The berries tend to be lower on the glycemic index, less impact on Candida in the body, less sugar content. So we're talking about blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, the berry family. And the good thing is that they're obviously very high in antioxidants, which is good. Other than that, nuts and seeds are great. Legumes and beans are amazing, and vegetables. I mean, so you're fine. Really, a raw food diet for Candida is fine. The one thing you just want to steer away from are the very, very high sweet fruit. The other thing you may want to consider is eliminating juicing, because juicing, again, is very simple sugars going right into basically feeding yeast and other bad bacteria in the colon. I would stick to smoothies because at least you're getting the fiber, so it's going to slow down how your body metabolizes the sugar. But overall, a raw food diet is great. Again, it's just the little specific things that we want to attend to if you do have Candida. Just a couple more tips. If you have Candida, you can try a couple things. We talked about probiotics, very, very important. And you want to look at ways to kill off the Candida. So you can use things like caprylic acid, which is naturally found in coconuts. But you can obviously find that as well in a supplemental form. Oregano oil, which is awesome. Again, it's just an essential oil you add to some water. Garlic is fantastic. Right? So those are some ways that you can help kill off the Candida, as well as removing the sugars that are coming into your body from your diet. Right? So obviously it's pretty self-explanatory. The refined stuff, the refined sweets, the refined sugars, all that has to go. Removing the very sweet fruit, sticking to the berries, nuts and seeds, legumes, beans, and vegetables, and you should be fine. So hopefully that answers the question, and be sure to come back to eatingforenergy.ca/rawfood101 to get all these great lessons to helping you make the raw food diet work for you. I'll see you in the next lesson.